Thank you for joining me for another episode of Ministry Matters That Matter. I am in Panama today at Panama Viejo in Panama City, or just outside of Panama City. We are focusing in these episodes on leadership and ministry. We are here at the Bible School of the Americas in Panama, and I thank you for joining me for today's episode. Each spring break, I come and do a course at the Bible School of the Americas, and my friend Rafael Paguaga is my co-teacher and translator. We have students from across Latin America, as well as this year we have 3 students from Heritage Christian University participating in a class on leadership. One of the things we try to do during this short course, we have 32 students from 6 different countries looking at what the Bible says about leadership, is we like to have a panel discussion with the professors of the Bible School of the Americas. One of them is Steven, is not able to be with us today. There are 5 full-time professors led by El Jefe, the director of the Bible School of the Americas, El Presidente, and Agenor Rudas. And so I'm going to actually let each of them, we have Rafael and Simeon and Francisco. I'm going to let them tell a little more about themselves because I want them to not only just say their name, I want to know a little bit about their family and where they're from, their experience, so that as you listen to the answers they give to questions, you know that backstory.
Bien, para esta primera fase se va a pedir que pueda cada uno de los profesores de la Escuela de las Américas hablar un poco de sí mismo, no solo sus nombres, sino también de su familia y sus antecedentes, su trasfondo, para que se sepa un poco más cuando se den las respuestas a las preguntas hechas al panel, de quién están viniendo estas respuestas.
Y el jefe es primero.
Ok. Muy bien, saludos a todos primeramente. Como ya se ha dicho, pues mi nombre es Agenor Rudas. Tengo una esposa y dos hijas. Me casé hace ya bastante tiempo, ¿verdad? Mi hija mayor tiene ya 25 años. Entré a la escuela bíblica a estudiar precisamente en el año de 1983. Fueron mis primeras 2, podríamos decir, clases fuertes y profundas sobre lo que es la Biblia. Por otra parte, ¿van a traducir? Ok. Adelante.
He is writing notes, so he knows what to translate.
His name is Agenor Rudas. He is married. He's got 2 daughters. He went to the Bible school in the early 80s.
¿Ya?
Es normal.
He has a law degree.
Su licenciatura en Derecho.
Sí, estudié también licenciatura en Derecho, Ciencias Políticas y posteriormente tomé un magíster en Derecho Procesal. Sin embargo, pues me he dedicado casi a tiempo completo a lo que es la obra, a la predicación.
Agenor has also taken a law degree and afterwards took a master's degree in law. It has to do with more prosecutor type of law.
Prosecutor.
Yeah, and but moreover, he's been involved full time in the ministry. He's been preaching full time, and that's basically the area that he's been involved in his time.
He just returned from spending the weekend doing some work in Cherokee in western Panama. ¿Cuántos años en la Escuela Bíblica de las Américas?
37 años.
37 years at the Bible School of the Americas.
La mayor parte de mi tiempo la tomo también para la iglesia. Trabajo en el establecimiento de la iglesia en Panama Centro en el 2006. Desde entonces he sido también predicador de la congregación. Y siempre ando buscando la forma de cómo ayudar a otras congregaciones que pasan problemas por causa del liderazgo, no tienen ayudas económicas para algunas congregaciones con mucha dificultad.
Agenor says that he's also involved most of his time in the church. He has been working with the church in Panama Central since 2006. And since then, he's been the local preacher trying to help establish this congregation. He's also helping other congregations that mainly ask for his help in cases such as leadership issues and congregations that lack support.
It's okay. Gracias.
So, well, my name is Rafael, and my name is Rafael Paguaga. I'm married to Gabriela Salinas. She's been my wife 10 years. I'm a graduate of this Bible school. I serve as a translator and also interpreter for these short courses. I've been working with Kirk for many years, and just grateful for the Future Ministers Camp. I initially began trying to get involved in the ministry because I went to a Future Ministers Camp in 2010 in my home country, Honduras. Since then, I've been involved in campaigns. My dad is a graduate of this school. He's a graduate from the early 90s. So I'm blessed to be here. I've been here for around, I think, 8 or 9 years. Most of the things that what else can I say? So some of the classes that I would be involved in teaching, at least in the school, have to do with James, the book of James, textual books, or textual studies. Most often I'll be involved with that. James, or I would teach the ladies, I would teach the book of Acts or First, Second Corinthians. And throughout the year, we have short courses where teachers from the States would come and they would be involved in, like we're having right now, a leadership short course. These short courses last a week, and we have many brothers who have experience, but also have good training, and they would teach different types of courses. We have from Kaba to Mike House from Apologetics Press to other good brothers who come and teach down here. I would say that this is part of the curriculum of the school, and I'm part of translating these classes. On a side note, I've been blessed with serving in the congregation where Brother Agenor is the local preacher in Panama Central. Right now, I'm in a new congregation in downtown Panama City, and I've been blessed by God in studying, and I have a psychology degree, so I'm also involved into that. I have a postgraduate degree on, teaching and also a clinical psychology degree, a master's degree of clinical psychology. But I'm also serving with LAM and translation. Most of all has to do with that. And
Latin American
missions. So I'm very involved with graduates, and this makes me very uncomfortable. I really do not like to speak about this stuff. But
Okay. You did good.
All right.
He doesn't like to talk about himself. Simeon, por favor.
Muy bien, mi nombre es Simeón Vázquez, estoy casado con Verónica Pinto. Dios nos ha permitido tener 2 hijos, Gamaliel de 9 años y Dan de Salel, que tiene 4 años. Mi esposa es enfermera, trabaja en el Hospital Santo Tomás. Estudié aquí en la Escuela Bíblica de las Américas los años 1994 y 1995. Trabajé en la congregación de Toyosa y otras congregaciones allí por espacio de 11 años y posteriormente vine aquí a la escuela desde 2011 hasta la fecha, 13 años aquí en la Escuela Bíblica de las Américas.
So Simeon Vasquez is married to Veronica Pinto. They have 2 children. They have Emilio, he's 9 years old, and has Dan, who's 4 years old. His wife is a nurse and works at a hospital here in Panama. He came to the Bible school in 1994. He was a graduate of 95. He then went to preach in a congregation in Panama in a place called Toyosa for 11 years, and has been then came back to Panama City to the Bible School of the Americas to serve as a teacher in 2011 till this day.
Dentro de las oportunidades que Dios me ha permitido servir aquí en la escuela, he impartido varios cursos y también me he encargado de lo que es el campamento de futuros ministros, ya prácticamente por 12 años.
Among the things that he's been able to serve as he is at the school have to do with teaching many courses, Bible courses, but also helping with the Future Ministers Camp, and he has been leading this for 12 years, Frank.
También estoy con la responsabilidad de captar los prospectos panameños para venir aquí a la escuela bíblica.
He's also involved in helping Panamanian candidates to come to study to the Bible school.
Francisco.
Hola, soy Francisco González, soy de Costa Rica.
So this is Francisco Gonzalez. He's from Costa Rica.
Fui bautizado el 3 de abril de 1983 y también ingresé a la Escuela Bíblica o Instituto Bíblico Panamericano en Costa Rica en 1990.
He was baptized on April the 3rd in the early 80s. He also went to the Bible School of the Americas, or as he was called, the Pan American Bible Institute in 1990.
En la escuela Costa Rica funcioné como predicador aproximadamente por 14, 15 años y también me casé con mi esposa Vanessa, de quien tenemos 2 hijos, Andrés de 22 años y Gabriel de 19 años, ambos también bautizados.
He served as a local preacher in Alajuela in Costa Rica for 14 and 15 years. He also got married with Sister Vanessa, and they have 2 children, 2 sons. The oldest one is Andres, and he's 22 years old, and the youngest one would be Gabriel, and he's 19 years old.
En Costa Rica trabajé como 8 años para Latin American Mission y también con muchas actividades para jóvenes, especialmente en la realización de el lugar que ahorita está conocido como el Campamento Yenisú, entre otros ministerios, a trabajar con actividades como campañas jóvenes y campañas básicamente.
As he was in Costa Rica, he was involved for around 10 years in working with LAM. He was involved in serving in teaching the youth of Costa Rica. Also, he was involved in camps, like a camp that's very known nowadays by the name of Jenny Sud. He was also involved in different campaigns within that country.
por muchos años también contribuí con la distribución de salarios a predicadores hasta que me trasladaron a Panamá en el 2008, al tiempo que permanezco durante 16 años aquí en Panamá.
He worked with Lamb on also helping to distribute the economical financial support for preachers in Costa Rica. But since 2008, he moved to Panama City to help with the Bible School of the Americas, and he's been since then working here, and that would be 60 years.
Gracias para ayudarnos con información sobre liderazgo en la iglesia. Gracias. What I would like to do as we go forward is we'll maybe do a sentence and a translation, sentence as a translation to kind of have everybody in the room to follow.
Lo que me gustaría que hiciéramos a continuación es que a partir de la siguiente pregunta vayamos oración, traducción para que se facilite a la hora de hablar a la cámara.
Que este grupo representa diferentes países: Panamá, Honduras, Costa Rica.
Sí.
The English for those guys.
So different countries are represented here. We got two of them from Panama. We got Honduras here, and we also have Costa Rica.
So what I would like you to think about is what your country's political leadership is like.
Así que lo que me gustaría que se pudiera discutir es cómo es el liderazgo político en su país.
We've got 6 or 7 countries represented in the room.
Tenemos 6 o 7 países representados en este salón de
If each of you
clases.
could take a couple of minutes and kind of tell us what you see in the political leadership. Let's start there.
Si cada uno de ustedes pudiera tomar un par de minutos solo para hablarnos sobre qué ven ustedes en el liderazgo político. Comencemos por ahí, por el liderazgo político.
So in the first question, we'll start with El Jefe and go that way.
Así que la primera pregunta inicia con el jefe y luego sigue.
And then the second question, we'll start down
Y
there.
luego la segunda pregunta va a
I feel
iniciar ahí.
very tall in this chair, brother.
Me siento muy alto en esta silla.
Bueno, en cuanto al liderazgo político aquí en Panamá,
Regarding political leadership here in Panama,
si uno analiza de una manera apropiada sus acciones,
if one analyzes properly, one's own actions,
es muy fácil poder determinar cuál es su proceder.
it's very easy to know what will be the outcome.
Por ejemplo, los dirigentes políticos les gusta, en Panamá les gusta decir lo que el público quiere escuchar.
For instance, the political leadership in Panama, you see leaders that they like to say what they know people like to hear.
Pero la principal característica
But the main feature
es que juegan con la necesidad del público.
is that they play with the need of the audience.
Prometen muchas cosas,
Many things.
prometen soluciones a las diferentes dificultades que hay.
They promise solutions to the different needs that there are.
Sin embargo, una vez se llega al poder, el proceder es totalmente diferente.
Nonetheless, once they get to the power, their actions are totally different.
El presidente hacia abajo, por ejemplo,
From the president and down,
se encarga de buscar lo que es el beneficio de él y sus allegados.
he would try to look how to get the benefit for him and for the ones that support him.
Igual los diferentes sistemas del gobierno, como es el judicial y el legislativo.
Just as with the other parts of the government that would be the judicial system and legislative system.
Si es el judicial, las personas siguen solicitando justicia.
If it's the judicial power or part of the government, people are still requesting for justice to happen, but they don't see it.
Si es el legislativo, hacen leyes que beneficien sus propias compañías.
In the case of making laws, the other part of the government, they would design laws that only benefit their own companies.
Lo que está llevando a la sociedad panameña a un estado ya de total desconfianza en todo aquel que sube.
And this is leading the Panamanian society to not have trust in anyone that will rise up to try to get the power.
Sin embargo, cada 5 años
Nonetheless, every 5 years,
logran convencer
they are capable of convincing
a aquellos que están anhelando
Those
un mejor país.
who look for a better country.
Es lo que brevemente
That's
puedo
what I
decirte.
briefly can say about it.
And elections are this year in Panama.
Las elecciones son este año en Panamá, ¿es así?
Correcto, así es.
Yes.
Tell us about Honduras.
Well, Honduras,
You lived in both. That might be an
Yeah.
interesting comparison.
yeah, so
Señor presidente.
So Honduras basically is facing huge challenges. Our last president was just judged in a U.S. court in New York for trafficking drugs or being involved in trafficking drugs. Probably he's getting a full life sentence, and that tells you a little bit of what happens. It's a very sad thing to see how a political party would unleash consequences that leave almost more than 50% of the whole country in poverty. Honduras is maintained by families who have gone into exile and they are immigrants in the States, there are immigrants in Spain and different countries, and they send money to keep the family, and that usually holds the whole economy of the country. And that tells you about no possibilities of having a job, no possibilities of having a good quality of lifestyle. And it's very dangerous. We have gangs that we call maras. We would have the association between congressmen and drug traffickers, and that creates corruption. And most of the new generations are just tired. We grew in despair of that things could get better, and it has taken it has made external governments to put their hand into our political system to keep things a little right, which was the case of our last president, who was extradited for being involved in narco trafficking. So that probably paints a sad picture, but that's what is his experience over there.
Muy bien, un análisis también. Considero un gobierno oportunista.
So this an analysis of this government, which would be in Panama, this would be a government that looks for their own benefit.
No solamente el actual gobierno,
Not only the current government,
sino viendo los diferentes gobiernos que han pasado.
but also seeing the different governments back in history.
Panamá no es un país para que esté en el nivel de pobreza como está.
Panama is not a country to be in this level of poverty as it is right now.
Tenemos el canal de Panamá, que es una gran entrada
We
económica.
have the Panama Canal, who creates wealth.
Tenemos los puertos marítimos también,
They also have seaports,
las petroterminales que aportan al fisco,
also terminals that have to do with petroleum, and creates income in terms of making fuel.
Sin embargo, el problema está en la administración,
Nonetheless, the problem or the issue is in the administration.
porque la mayor parte de los gobernantes quieren
Most of the government
politizar las instituciones, ya sea del mismo gobierno o las que aún ejercen un servicio social.
So most of the governments have wanted to also make political these institutions that do not belong to the government, the state.
Y mientras eso suceda,
And while
no
that
va a haber
happens,
equilibrio
there won't be a balance
y satisfacer las necesidades de muchas personas que tienen serias necesidades por por una mejor calidad de vida.
And the needs of many people won't be covered this way. Needs that they have that would allow them to, if they would be covered, will help them to have a good quality of life.
Y esto afecta inclusive hasta la cristiandad también, porque mientras no exista trabajo, ellos tendrán que viajar a otros lugares y esto pues puede hacer que afecte su fe.
This also affects Christianity because while they cannot get a decent job to cover their needs, they need to go somewhere else, and that creates this not stable, if you will, part of people in retaining their faith.
Y finalizo diciendo que el 5 de mayo el pueblo panameño va a elegir a un gobernante o a gobernantes.
I will end up saying that on May the 5th, the Panamanian people will choose their new ruler.
Y lo que a veces me preocupa es que hay una carga de mentiras de por medio.
And what really concerns me is that this governor, between all of these, there's a huge amount of lies.
Tenemos problemas del agua,
We have issues with water,
de la migración en Darién,
migration through the
que
Darien.
ahora mismo es un problema inclusive entre México y
That
Estados Unidos.
it is a problem nowadays between Mexico and the United States.
Pero ellos entran acá del tapón de Darién y van para allá.
But they come through the Darien and they go there.
Ninguno de los gobiernos
None of the governments
han podido hacer frente a
have
esto.
been able to face this.
Entonces,
And so
la gente le gusta que le
people
mientan.
like to be lied.
Liderazgo, que hablen la verdad. Líderes que hablen la
We
verdad.
need leaders that speak the truth.
Necesitamos,
We need,
y nosotros los cristianos
and us as Christians,
tenemos la oportunidad
have the opportunity
de ver a algunos de
to
ellos
see some of them
y orar a Dios para
and pray
que
to God
Él los pueda guiar con mucha
so that He
sabiduría.
might guide us with wisdom.
Francisco, ¿qué es la situación en Costa Rica?
Ok, yo quiero resumirlo en tres
I
cosas.
would like to summarize this into three things:
Lo bueno, lo malo y lo feo.
the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Creo que lo bueno de Costa Rica ha
think-
sido la visión que ha tenido.
The good thing of Costa Rica has been the vision that they have had.
Es un país,
Vision.
la visión, ¿ok? Es un país con una cultura muy desarrollada.
It is
definida.
a country with a very with a very good culture, very developed, well-developed culture.
Los cuidados de los recursos naturales
Take care of the natural resources,
lo tienen en la punta del mundo.
and these cares have Costa Rica in the top of the world,
Al ser un país muy limpio,
being a very clean country,
muy conservado,
very well kept.
creo que eso dice mucho de
And
la
that says
biodiversidad
a
que se
lot
tiene.
about the biodiversity that Costa Rica
Por
has.
todos los cuidados que los gobiernos han tenido.
For all the caring that the governments have had in the past.
Yo por eso alabo la visión.
That is why I praise the vision that Costa Rica
Ahora,
has.
vamos con lo malo.
Now let's go with the bad.
Durante mucho tiempo
For
se ha
many
creado
times-
o se creó un partidismo político.
For a long time, this political zeal was created on different parties, political parties.
Ese partidismo político llevó a la decepción de muchos votantes de no ir a las urnas.
This led to the despair of many of the citizens to go and vote in the times of elections.
Lo que hizo que muchos políticos oportunistas buscaran esto
That allowed politicians that wanted to get a benefit to take advantage,
para ser gobernados por una minoría.
to be ruled for a minority.
Entonces,
So
cansado de esto,
tired of this,
la política en este momento
nowadays
ha cambiado
politics
mucho en Costa
have
Rica.
changed a lot in Costa Rica.
Creo que se ha
I
vuelto a
think
tener un
it has
presidente
become it has become a precedent
con características de la creación de la República de Costa Rica.
with the characteristics of the Republic of Costa Rica.
Un hombre creíble
A man that you can trust
que
in.
ha traído una de las mejores economías ahorita en el mundo.
This man that's our president has brought one of the best economies in the world.
Y eso ha traído mucha credibilidad a la
That
población.
creates credibility in the population.
Ahora hablemos de lo malo.
Now let's talk about the ugly.
Lo malo es que se creó una corruptocracia.
There is a lot of corruption created within the power.
Y eso nos ha hecho pagar un precio muy caro.
And that has made us pay for this time with bad consequences, if you will.
Durante mucho tiempo la clase política
For a long
tomó
time.
mucho control
The political class took control.
e incluso permitiendo que el narco se influyera mucho.
They allowed the narco trafficking to come into this.
Y esto ha traído algunas
It
lesiones en
brought
este
some
momento
damages to this moment.
para que el país pueda avanzar
It hinders the country so that it can go forward
en la plena recuperación que se tiene.
in the full recovery that we intend.
Y aunque la clase política
And so-
sigue luchando con su corrupción,
The political class struggles with corruption.
creo que en este momento el 80% de la población
To
de
this
Costa Rica
point, 80% of the population in Costa Rica
ha entendido
have understood
que hay que eliminar la
that they
corrupción.
need to eradicate corruption.
Entonces, yo
So,
creo que
I think-
estas tres cosas
Those three things
nos dan un excelente
give
panorama
us an excellent overview
de cómo ha sido la
of
clase
how the
política.
political class has been.
Good. Gracias, gracias. As I try to summarize,
Trato de resumirlo.
I see consistently a problem with a lack of integrity and honesty,
Veo consistentemente un problema con falta de integridad y honestidad,
selfishness,
egoísmo,
leading for the leader instead of for the populace,
liderar por el líder y no por la populis,
corruption
corrupción
is a problem,
es un problema,
manipulating people,
manipular a las personas,
manipulating the laws,
manipular las leyes,
involvement in illegal activity,
que los
personal benefit.
se involucran en actividades ilegales para el beneficio personal.
We have other countries in the room.
Y hay otros países aquí en este
We've
salón
heard echoed
y
this
hemos
week,
oído eco esta semana,
whether it's the United States,
como los Estados Unidos,
Peru, or
Perú,
Nicaragua.
Nicaragua.
We've consistently heard some of the same
Consistentemente
things.
escucho de las mismas cosas.
So I'm reminded
Así
that
que-
godly leadership
Me recuerda que el liderazgo según Dios
is not selfish,
no es egoísta,
is not dishonest,
no es
is
deshonesto,
not corrupt,
no es corrupto
does not put itself, the leader does not put himself above those who are
y el
following.
líder no se pone encima de aquellos que le siguen.
And I'm also
Y
reminded
también me recuerda
to not put our trust in the kingdoms of this world.
no poner nuestra confianza en los reinos de este mundo.
Romans 13 says they're supposed to be God's ministers.
Romanos 13 dice que se supone que sean ministros de Dios,
Many do not
pero
function.
muchos no funcionan así.
As these old ruins at Panama Viejo have lasted through the years, I pray that your influence for God lasts. Be faithful to God and love people, and it will. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Ministry Matters That Matter.